Hey guys, welcome back. It's me, Gimpy, and I am here with Wings of Glory, the Battle of Britain starter set for you guys. Like Mrs. Gimpy said in her little Gimpy's Gal Guesses video, we're going to take and do something a little different with this, and I'm going to play through using a solo scenario that has been created by Mr. Richard Bradley here, and show you guys how well this works, and then she's going to play through it with me, similar setup to what we've got going on here, and just see which one does better, because the solo system should work better. I'll explain it here just a little bit on how it's going to work. For those of you who, actually, let me say this first. Pretend it's a night scenario. I don't have the little green map that there's a nylon map you can take and play on, since I only have the starter set for this game. You know, I just kind of wanted to try it out. I took my map that I actually use for X-Wing. So on the back of this is actually the Death Star with Jakku getting blown up on it. So I just flipped it over and said, okay, we'll just play nighttime World War II plane scenario. So that's the little map that we're playing on. It's right at the right size. This is a 3x3 space, and I think it's something like the game says 38 by 43 inches or so is the size you should go for. So this is close enough to work for our purposes. But anyway, the solo system has some basic rules for it. Nothing too hard to understand. Basically, it's going to go straight until it gets within 30 inches of an enemy aircraft, and then it's going to start doing these maneuvers. And these maneuvers are the cards, and you can print this out for each maneuver deck. The enemy plane is going to be that one over there in the distance, and it uses maneuver deck A. So this is maneuver deck A laid out, and there's this neat little cutout that you can take and print out, glue together, and what you do is you lay it right there on top of the solo plane. So I'd be laying it on that one actually, and then you just look to see what angle the enemy plane's coming in, and you can actually see on these things it says, you know, 1, 12, 11, 10, 9, all the different sectors that someone come in. So as an enemy plane is coming in from whatever sector, you'll have so many different options, and you'll roll a d6 to determine which maneuver it's going to do. It's a neat idea. I want to see how well it does. Forgive some of the color being off. My printer was actually running out of ink when I printed this out. That's why one side is a little splotchy, but it will work for our purposes. I'm going to take and play the standard game. All right, there's not going to be any of the special damage cards in the damage decks. No instant explosion. It's just going to be pure damage as far as well, not cards, but the counters that we can draw. For those of you who have not played this game, you just take and try to get your opponent within range, which is what this is. And if you do, then they have to draw a certain type of damage counter, A, B, C, or D, and D's being the most powerful, A's being the least powerful. Closer you are to the enemy, there's a short range that does more counters. Long range, you do fewer counters. For example, my ME-109 here that just popped off its base. If you look at the base there in the bottom right, you see that it says ACC. So if it's at short range, it'll do 1 A counter and 2 C's, which is actually really powerful. And at long range, it does 1 C. The Spitfire over there does 1 B at long range and 2 B's at short range. So we'll just take and start playing this out, see how it does. I'm not using the altitude rules, anything else. It's just a really basic standard game just to see how the solo plane maneuvers. My guess, without trying it too much as of yet, is that the solo system will work well for scenarios. Maybe if you want to have some American bombers coming out and then German planes coming after them, or vice versa. Something where you're kind of going for an objective instead of just a purely dogfight. But this is just to show you guys the mechanics itself. That way, if you're interested in something like this, like I love the X-Wing game system. They're getting ready to come out with 2.0 later this year. which is just irritating because I've got so much invested in that. But they're coming out with that later this year, and it always made me want to try this system, which I knew was actually around beforehand, but I don't have anyone local to play this with. One of my X-Wing guys did try it with me just to see what he thought of it, kind of let me try it with someone who was a little more experienced. He had fun with it. We had a good time with it, but it wasn't really his cup of tea. I liked it, I think, more than he did. He's, I guess, real just die hard into X-Wing. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, everybody's going to have their own flavor, but I love the World War II stuff, so I'd like to get it to the table more often. And if I can play it solo by having bomber, planes and stuff like that, I want to try the system a little more before I invest in the models, which are comparatively priced to X-Wing. If you've bought any of that stuff, generally you can get a plane or two for anywhere between $15 and $20, and they are painted, which you guys can see there. They're actually really nice. I was surprised about that. Really nice. And Mrs. Gimpy was complaining because the propellers didn't spin. But then the bigger planes, your B-17s and stuff like that will run you somewhere between 25 and 30. But before I, get any of those, I wanted to see how well this did. So we'll take and zoom in on the aircraft as I'm moving them so you guys can see it a little bit better. I'm not going to stay back the whole time. Let me pan down and show you guys one thing. Right here is my little dashboard. I'm not bothering to set one up for the AI because the way the AI is going to work is I'm going to roll for each one of their maneuvers, but I'm going to still play it the same where I have to pick two ahead. Okay, so I'll pick two maneuvers and their speeds, which are what these little counters are for. That way, I've plotted out 2 cards worth of maneuver, but the enemy AI can react to my choices. So whatever I'm picking on this first card, it's going to react to that, which is going to make it to where I should have to kind of anticipate where the enemy plane's going for my next card, not where it is now, something like that. So hopefully it'll work well. We'll just have to see how it does. Okay, so the rules state for the solo thing that I'm always going to move my plane first. So I'll do my maneuver, and then the enemy will take and do theirs. So my first maneuver is going to be just something simple, a nice little straight. And if you haven't played this game before, it is very easy to do a maneuver. You're simply going to take and place the card right there in front of your plane like so, which my lights are putting a glare on the card, I'm sorry. Like so, and then take and move your plane. There is a little arrow right here on the back of it, and you're going to line it up on the card right there above the arrow, just depending on whatever speed it is that you're doing. So I was going fast, so I move up like that. Okay, so the enemy plane, I'm going to take my little diagram here. I'm going to set it down around him to determine what angle I'm coming in. And again, I apologize about the lights. You guys wouldn't be able to see if I didn't have it lit up, but I will call out what angle it's coming in. It looks like coming in right there in between 1 and 2, maybe. That. You go peg to peg as far as this is concerned. I'm going to call it 2, so we'll determine that later. So let's back out a little bit, let you guys see this. Okay, so right here, 2, and you'll see that it has 2 arrows. That's because the card has 2 arrows on it. Well, most of them do. You're going to do whatever maneuver is the dark maneuver. So whatever one is in black is the one you're going to do. So we're going to roll a d6 real quick and see what maneuver the Spitfire is doing. It's doing a 3, which is going to be a light, slow, right over here, light, slow bank to the right. So they're pitching over towards me a little bit. Let's find whatever card that is. Okay. This is going to be the card that they're doing. Let's zoom in again and handle their movement. Again, they're doing the slow one. Do it like that. Just pull that out. The back of my neoprene mat is a little sticky as far as this is concerned. Okay, now you can see that they're kind of getting in arc and range of each other, but we're still out of range, so there's not going to be fire. Now my next maneuver is already chosen, so I'm going to go ahead and do my maneuver, and then they're going to respond accordingly. I had selected the white maneuver there on the card, the slow bank, so very similar to what they had done actually, to come in on them, try to put a little damage through. And this game definitely reminds me of X-Wing. It's a game of millimeters. It can really come down to that last little bit, but me and some of my buddies, we get so like just lackadaisical about it and just throwing the ships around, especially if you've been playing in a tournament, you've been playing for hours and you just get tired and you don't care anymore. Okay, so we can see where I'm at now. If we look here, I'm obviously in his 12 o'clock. I'm straight ahead of him. So we look on the 12 for the different maneuvers. And the neat part is the guy who designed this, I'll make sure and put the links in the description. There's a deck for so many different types of planes. The base game only comes with decks A and B for the two different types of planes. But I think there's something like 30 different maneuver decks. So that's really cool. I really want to try out some of the other planes. And he's got one of these set up for all the different ones. So that's really cool that he went to that type of effort. All right, so let's move our dice tray forward, see which way he's going to go. All right, 3. Again, we're getting a lot of 3s. I love my double 6 dice. Definitely recommend them. Okay, so he's going to do that swirly thing. And if we look at it, he's going to do the swirly to the right. That is actually a good maneuver for him to do there. Because of where I'm going, it's putting him kind of out of my arc, but keeping me in his. If I get beat by this thing, I definitely will be happy about that. All right, so the hardest part about this is, of course, when it's solo, you're having to take and fiddle through and find your cards, because you're having to deal with your cards and the enemy's cards. I think that's the one right there. Yep. Okay, we found it. I think there's going to be some shooting on this one. And we'll line things up here. I'm not worried about it being perfectly precise, because this is, again, just a demonstration. Don't think he was able to get out of my arc, but what range are we in here? All right, and we measure from the pole, the little peg there, to the base, so we are actually both in long range of each other. Back it back out a little bit. That means I'm going to draw a B and he's going to draw a C and see what kind of damage we get. I'm not, normally you would keep these face down, and you don't have to tell your opponent what the damage is. There's no point in keeping it face down when you're playing by yourself. So obviously I'll just take and draw one. Oh, good deal. Oh, no, wait. The C's for him. He got a 0. Oh, crap. And for Gimpy, Gimpy gets a 5. You gotta be kidding me. Spitfire's lighting my ass up right off the bat. Okay, now I have to take and do my card draws again for my next 2 maneuvers. And let me go ahead and do that real quick and we'll come back to it. All right, we're set up for our next one. And that is the maneuver that I have chosen for my maneuver deck B. I'm going to be doing the fast one because I plan on doing an Immelman on the next maneuver, which is a K-turn. Basically, I'm turning around. So we're going to go fast. I'm going to shoot by him real quick. But see, this is what I kind of like about the solo system, is since I have to move first, the solo system is adjusting to me where I'm at in that very moment. All right, so normally a human player is going to have to take and make their choices based on here instead of here. He knows where I'm going to end up. So that makes it to where I think it can react a little bit better. All right, let's take it and move up here. Pull my card back. And let's see. We'll go peg to peg, puts me in sector 3 for him. Back out and see what our roll is going to be. Got a 2, and a 2 is going to put him doing this maneuver right here. So sector 3-4, he's going to be doing, sometimes I have to turn the thing like this to see what direction it's going. So he's doing a little banking maneuver to the right. That's actually going to put him right there on top of me. Forgive me, I have to look at it for a sec. I'm not an expert in this game by any means. So he is going right here. And throw it down right there. Okay, so now we see where the planes are. Of course, there's not going to be any firing on this round. So we'll go ahead and do our maneuvers, our next ones. Zoom it in a little bit again. Because I'm going to be doing an Immelman. And to do my Immelman, I have to do a fast straight, do the Immelman, and then do a slow straight. So I will do my Immelman, which is going to put him right in my crosshairs. Oh, went too far back. That's the one thing I've always noticed. I always try to put the plane too far back when I'm doing an Immelman. All right, so right there, we have turned around and we got this little SOB dead to rights. All right. Now, I am in his rear arc and I am in his 5 o'clock. So, by being in his 5 o'clock, he has these options listed here. So let's see which one he's going to do. He's got another 3. I'm rolling a lot of 3s and 2s on this. All right, he got the 3, so he's going to do this little janky maneuver again. Another little slow bank. Trying to turn. Make sure I'm still on film. Yeah. All right. He's right there, and it got him out of short range, unfortunately, because I was wanting to do some good damage to him. All right, now we're checking for our range. I've definitely got him in arc, long range. He doesn't have me in arc. So we will draw a single C chit for him to see what he gets. You got to be kidding. Oh, I'm lighting this little SOB up. Okay, I am flying decent, but I'm not hitting worth a shit. Give me a sec, let me draw my cards, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back, and I am going with the white maneuver here, the slight bank to the right, a little slow one. See where we're going to end up here. All right, panning forward. Again, I'm just trying to keep this guy in arc. And pull that card out. These cards are hard to get out. Come on. There we go. The neoprene mat does not work well flipped upside down because the cards are sticking to it like mad. All right, so looking at it now, we can see going base to base. Yep. I'm in his number 4 sector, so we're going to roll real quick and see what type of maneuver he's going to do. Now, there is a rule for Immelmans for them doing it. Okay. And it has to do with if the nearest plane is in the 6 to 7 arc, which is his rear arc. I'm not there, so he's not going to do it. Basically, you would roll a d6 if it's in if you're in the rear arcs, and on a 5 or 6, they'll do an Immelman if the maneuver before was a straight. So let's take and see what he's going to do here. I'm in his number 4. 2, again, I'm going to have to switch out dice because I'm getting the same damn result. Another turn. He's going to bank around. as such. And pull it out. There we go. Let's see what type of range we are in. All right, we got him at short range. So this time he's actually going to be drawing 2 of the purple chits, the C chits, and a single A as well. Remember, the A's are not as powerful as the C's. You know, it just goes on up. D is better than C, C's better than B, B's better than A. So, good. Oh my God. Look at this. 0, 0, 3. I have hit him, what is this, 5 times. Or I've had him draw 5 chits, rather. And he's got 1 on me, and he has done more damage to me. That's part of the reason I like the game, though, is it can be varied like that. All right, next maneuver is going to be a stall for me, because I was trying to keep myself kind of touched up on him, but it didn't work. So I'm right there. And with me being there, that means I am directly in his 6. So we're going to roll to see if he does an Emmelman on his next. Well, he didn't do a straight. You know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and give him the Emmelman. We'll say he did a straight on the previous turn. Because he's going off the edge of the board, which is right over here. Let's back it up a little bit. You guys can see the edge of the board is here. Otherwise, he's just going to keep flicking around to the right. So we will, in the interest of speedy play, give him the Emmelman. Throw it down right here. Flick it around. And I'll tell you what, after playing X-Wing as long as I have, I can estimate the templates for that game. I can see them in my head, you know, looking down at the board. These cards, I have nowhere near that type of experience with, though. I would have thought he would have been closer to the edge of the board. I am just in long range, so I will draw a single B counter. It'll probably be a 10 or something. Hey, another 0. Good grief, it's nothing but zeros. I could have blown him out if he had drawn some heavier chits during this pull. I could have killed him. All right, let me pause here. We'll get things turned back around. All right, my next maneuver is going to be a fast straight, because again, I'm trying to turn around. I am laying down these little tokens to signify what speed I'm wanting to go. So we'll pan ahead. These little things pop off just a little too easy. I should have these pegs just a little bit tighter. Okay, and that puts me there, and I am in his, let's see what arc I am in here. Should be, yep, right there at 2 o'clock. It's probably going to do a small bank. Let's see. Those are his options for 2. Let's roll, see what we get. 3. All right, that's it. Where's my damn dice bag? You guys tell me, have I rolled anything off that die besides a friggin' 2 or a 3? That has really screwed with this game. Don't get me wrong, I love these dice, but I just have never seen the same result so many damn times. All right, we're trying that again, just to see if we get a different result. 6. First one I've seen the whole damn game. All right, he's going to do that fast turn there. The bank. Yeah, I'm going to roll that dice when I get done playing this for you guys and see what the deal is, because that is just ridiculous. All right, found it. This might put him right on top of me because he is doing the fast one. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that right there. I mean, right there on my butt. Otherwise, there are these little cards, and I like their inclusion of this because you can take these cards and use them in place of your planes themselves. They've got a little red dot in there to represent where the peg is. They've got the firing arcs on them. They got the little mark there at the center. So in effect, you could play with the card instead of the miniatures if you so choose to do so. I like this because you can slide them underneath if your planes overlap. It is a very nice inclusion for them to do that. All right, I gotta take and draw 2 B counters real quick. And we got is that a B or an 8? That's an 8. Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. And we got a 5. Yep, I'm done. He cooked me. That's 18 of my 17 health points. Right there, if you guys look at the bottom left, that's their health, so 17. Now, I did kind of give it to him there at the end, or him, me. I gave it to whoever. I gave it to myself by letting him have that Immelman turn. But again, I just wanted to kind of see how this would do, and you guys can see right there. This is the collection of chits that I got. So I got a 0, a 5, a 5, and an 8 drawn against my plane, while the AI received, let's see, 1, 3, and 4 zeros. So, and if you include the special chits, it can throw that shit way off, because there's stuff that'll jam your rudder, like you suddenly won't be able to turn left, or you won't be able to turn right, or it can cause engine fires, or it can cause you to smoke, or it can cause you to do other neat stuff. The solar rules, though, do say not to use those, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, do not count special damage except the explosion result, which, you know, auto kills the plane. And I left that out again for our special play here. I gotta say, I would have to play it more to get a better feel for it, but it didn't feel bad. Nothing AI, nothing this simple is going to take and ever replace an actual player there at the table for you. That's never going to happen. But something that you can take and just have some fun with if you just want to take and get the planes out and move them across the board. Yeah, this does well. I gotta say, it does pretty well. I like how the different maneuver cards are associated to the different sectors according to what the plane will more likely do, you know, in those scenarios. That they included rules for Immelman and a percentage chance for the AI to do it. That would probably be the one thing that I would tweak, because I could see people doing that just a little more often than the chance is available. Maybe bump it up to a half instead of a third, maybe 4, 5, and 6 allows them to do the Immelman instead of a 1, 2, 3, something to that nature. But I think this could work well, taking and mixing it with some of the bigger planes, the scenario booklet that comes with it. Let me grab that. There is a little scenario booklet that you can take and play the game with. And I don't know if it has any of the... Okay, look at this. This is some of the other planes that you can get for it. Tell me that just doesn't look neat as hell. You don't want to get that shit down to the table. Stukas and Junkers and Heinkels and... Oh, they even got the Gladiators in there. They even got some biplanes. I mean, that's just neat stuff. The B-110... Oh, I love that. I love that stuff. Oh, the Beaufighter. I think that's how you pronounce it. I always want to call it the Beaufighter, but I guess it's the Beaufighter. I love that thing in the Warfighter game. As far as the solo game, works well. I'm not disappointed with it. I'm not like, oh my god, it's the best thing I ever played. This is so cool. You got to try it, right now. No, it's not, that good. But if you want to play this, if you just want to even get the base set and just have some model airplanes that you could take and fly around the table, this system works well for that. No issues whatsoever. I would like to try it with a bomber just to see how it did and how some of the other maneuver templates do as far as solo. We will be taking and getting Mrs. Gimpy to sit across from me though, and she's going to take and pilot one of these planes and I'll pilot one, and we'll see how she does versus how the AI did. Now, this did come down a little bit to combination of my shit-ass dice rolling the same result every single time and bad draws on my part. And now it rolls a 5. Look at that. It was like 2s and 3s the entire game. I was giving it the same maneuvers. And yeah, my bad draws as far as my plane getting blown up But we'll see how she does. That way, you guys will be able to easily see a comparison between an amateur player and the solo system itself. You know, I would expect the solo system to do a better job than, you know, Gimpy's gal that does not play any war games, doesn't play any miniature games, stuff like that. Like, the only stuff she tends to play is Euro games. So the solo system should do better. So hopefully I'll beat her, but we'll have to see how that plans out. All right, that's going to be it for me. You guys take care. I will see you in the next one.